Yeah, my name is Vito Pelosi. I'm been in property management for 30 years, a little over 30 years. Just started my own company in property management and advisory. So I've worked with developers, institutions, institutional investors, third-party managers. I've done the gamut of all the property types, industrial, office, downtown office, retail. The only thing I haven't done really was enclosed malls. So that's the only thing really I haven't managed. And mostly been on the operational side. At this point, I'm helping owners and investors improve their performance with their properties. And listen, I've been in this industry for 30 years. The industry has treated me extremely well. I'm really having quite a bit of fun at this point, you know. I'm a bit of a different area in my career right now, and it's having a blast. The biggest thing I think is predictability. And when you have predictability, there's less stress. Your operations team are doing their tasks as they go along, as opposed to being reactive where you're being called on emergencies, you have bigger breakdowns, a lot more breakdowns of equipment and stuff like that. So if you're being proactive in maintenance, it really improves the experience for everyone, really. The performance of the building improves greatly, and especially on the tenant experience. If the tenant experience is great, renewals occur much more. You have renewals. It's a lot cheaper to renew an existing tenant than it is to try to find a new one. And look, at the end of the day, if your customers are happy, they tend to stay. And at the end of the day, that's what's important. And that's what drives performance, really. Sometimes we tend to look at the short-term returns. Asset managers will defer capital maintenance in order to improve short-term returns. And that's where there's a bit of a disconnect sometimes, and where you, in French they say, on va hypothéquer le futur, we're going to mortgage your future. If you don't do it, don't do something right away. Initially, the costs are higher, but long-term, you save, and studies have proven that with preventive maintenance, in the long run, you'll save for every dollar spent, you'll save $3 to $5 in the future. So if you want to improve your future performance, it's important to have preventive maintenance, and that's where the big difference is, really. I've been involved in all types of properties. When I started my career, I started in repossessions. Now, if you could imagine repossessed properties, once you get them, the financial institutions used to repossess the properties. They don't do that anymore because they got clobbered on that over the years, in those days, in the 90s anyway. You take over a property and it's a real shambles, and then you start implementing your programs, your preventive maintenance programs, your customer service, improve on customer service and stuff, and all these things cost money. But I'll tell you that within a short period of time, and it's not that long, sometimes 12 to 18 months, you can make an impressive turnaround, mainly because you start to gain the trust of your tenants. Now, whether that's in residential, I did a lot of residential in those days, multi-res, and or whether it's in commercial, they start to see that you're taking care of their property. At the end of the day, whether you work in it or live in it, it's an experience. A building has its own life, I like to say, not just the people that live in it, but it projects something to the people who are in the building, whether they work or live in it. And when they can feel that that's working, it makes all the difference in the world. So within a short period of time, I've had assets where we couldn't do everything at once, but you communicate that to your clients, and they understand. For the most part, sometimes I speak to people and they say, "What do you do?" I manage real estate. They say, "Oh my God, you got to deal with tenants." I go, "Yeah," but I'll tell you, in 30 years, I'd have a hard time coming up with enough tenants on one hand that I would rather never see again. I'd really have a hard time, because if you give them what they need, most people are reasonable. The great majority are sometimes they could be difficult, but they're fair. So I guess I think I answered the question. Like I said, it could be pretty fast. To take on what I just said in the previous question, 12 to 18 months is not a long time to have that turnaround. Once you start letting go of customer service and what impacts customer service is operations in your building. If the operations in the building and the maintenance is not properly done, well, you have more breakdowns. You have your air conditioning breaks down, and it's hot, and people have to work in that kind of environment. It's not pleasant. On top of that, they go home and they're not very happy. So we even have an impact on people's lives for when they go home. Sometimes we don't realize the kind of impact that we have on people's lives with how we operate our buildings. So, and that goes pretty fast. Once things start breaking down more often, it goes pretty quick, and tenants start to realize that you're not taking care of the building like you used to. And when you start not taking care of the building the way you used to, they start to be skeptical, and things could deteriorate fairly quickly. And I like to use this example, like the cleaning in an office building. You only realize it when it's not done. When it's done, nobody knows that people are passing the vacuum at night and dusting your desk and cleaning the floors and all that. You don't see that. The same thing in the mechanical room. You'd be surprised. You go into a mechanical room and there's people working in there, changing the filters, greasing the equipment, and all. It's pretty impressive to see in a high-rise building the kind of equipment that is in place. And if you start not maintaining it, just like a car, it starts to break down. When it starts to break down, and like I said, certain things can be pretty quick. Tenants notice things fairly quickly.